Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to take off on an idea that my friend, the Happy Console Gamer, had done, and he basically answered the question, why do you collect what you do? Okay, in this case, why do you collect video games? But then I said, okay, well, why do I collect a lot of the things that I do collect? And I have and there's different reasons for what I collect and why I collect. So I'm going to go over all the various different topics as I do it, and sort of my motivation behind all the various different things. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so the first and foremost thing that I would like to obviously say to collect is my video cassette collection, or my anime collection. And obviously the reason I needed to collect this one is obviously we started in the era of videotape trading, and basically the only way that you got anime, or you got the things that you were able to watch, is you basically had to have a physical copy of the thing. So in the early days when I started doing videos and that kind of stuff, I realized that it was very important to have as much as what I could get my hands on of whatever it happened to be. Okay, so it didn't matter if it was like a really really poor multiple generation of a Gundam episode, or maybe it was some episodes of stuff that I recorded off TV, or some compilation of some episodes of even silly things like Alf and Rocket Robin Hood. Okay, just it was something that to have it, because somewhere along the way, as tape trading usually goes, is that somebody somewhere is going to want to have and take a look at whatever that is, that thing that you want, that you have. And the more harder it is to get, the more rare it is, things like that. People find it interesting, and therefore that might be some kind of trading material. So with this motivation, I just basically collected everything and anything that I could get my hands on. I constantly went to all these Japanese grocery stores, Japanese video rental stores. I went to obviously things like Kiku Video. I went to Fuji Video, some nosebleed Japanese grocery store on in the middle of downtown East Side. That's the really scummy part of town. But they had Japanese video cassettes on top of their freezers, and so I went there and rented just about everything they had. And a lot of things I rented, I had no idea what they were. It's just there was in Japanese. It was some things had some anime titles on it, or it's classified in the anime section. So I got it anyway. Okay, and then that's what happened. I built up on my collection of anime, so that I had all these different things, and some things I was really surprised to actually have and get, and that's what I've been showing you. And I've been pulling out of archives. If I if I come up with something that's really really strange, bizarre, I'll put it up there and I'll let you have a look at it, and that adds to the viewing ability to those things. So that was my main reason of of collecting video cassettes at that time. It's because really that was the only way you could get stuff, is by getting and collecting it. Sometimes you didn't know what it was, but that's how you managed to go and get it, and that's how you basically got all the things that I did. Okay. So the second thing that I basically collected a lot of is basically anime magazines. And again, not like collecting stamps, or collecting video games or whatever, and you're trying to get every single one. That's that was never the motivation behind that. It was basically these magazines, Animedia, Anime V, New Type. Even things like PlayStation Magazine, PC Engine Fan, and all these other types of magazines. You got these magazines because this was our information tunnel into Japan. Okay, so these magazines came out, monthly, and they basically tell you what is new, what is hot, when it is hot. Okay, because of the mailing time and the lag behind. Actually physically, shipping stuff from Japan over to North America. Okay, it is very important that these things, when they get published or whatever, is the newest and the freshest information that you can get on these things, like anime or video games or whatever. So we depended on these magazines to tell us what's going on, what's getting released, when these things are. A lot of these anime magazines, as I've shown you, have a TV guide in them. So we were following these magazines to try to figure out what was going on, what episodes are happening, when the next laser discs are coming out, and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't because I wanted every single issue of New Type, or I wanted every single issue of Animedia or whatever, and so I have a collection of them, like all of 1996, 97, 98. That wasn't the point. The point was I needed to know what was coming out, what CDs are coming out, what episodes of these particular shows are coming out, or usually when I get stuff from an anime store or something like that, and it's it's a videotape full of random episodes. I'm gonna need that episode listing to tell me what episode I'm watching here. Okay, because sometimes as I said, I'll get a tape that says Gundam. I have no idea what episode, what Gundam they are. They're just some episodes of Zeta Gundam or Double Zeta Gundam, and in order to figure it out, I have to pull up the magazines, look up the episode title, and then say, oh, okay, yeah, this is episode 14 of Double Zeta Gundam. Okay, so fine, I can actually label the tape properly and know what it is. Otherwise, I have no idea. Okay, so that's why these magazines are very important. So to answer that question, yeah, anime magazines again were I collect lots of those things and subscribe to all those things because they were as I said, our ticket, our information highway, shall we say? Because again, the internet isn't the way it is that we know it today, and so there's no way to get any information from Japan about what's going on better than what an anime magazine will do for you. So that's why, again, I had to collect as many of those anime magazines as I could to get the information. Okay, so another thing that I collected a lot of is anime figurines and that kind of stuff. And again, again, there's probably now with the advent of the internet and that kind of stuff, you can go out and search and collect and get all the particular figurines of a particular type. You can also, for example, if you like Sword Art Online, Fate Stay Night, or whatever, you can just go and type that into Google, and all the different things that come up, present and past, that'll come up, right? But again, during my time of collecting anime figurines, this was not possible because Google didn't exist in a search engine like that. You couldn't search pictures of all these different things, of figurines that came up. You just sort of walked into a store. If they had to have something like that, then I'd go out and buy it. Of course, I don't buy everything, but I would things that I particularly were interested in, I would definitely buy. And again, the other problem is that without really knowing a code number or anything like that, I really had no way to order the ones I wanted. Okay, so for example, one of my favorite things I like to collect a lot of is Street Fighter figurines and a lot of the female characters out of fighting games that are they're alive and that kind of stuff. Toshinden and I guess Koden Live, but also things like Tekken, I guess Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, King of Fighters, things like that. Then I'll collect all those type of things. But the problem is I wouldn't know which ones are coming out, and whatnot, and basically, I collected what I could when I could, and basically collected things I particularly like. So, for example, I'll collect things like Tifa and that kind of stuff, but I won't bother collecting Cloud and all those other guys. I don't care about those guys anyway, right? So, so that's sort of one of those ones where I collected the things I liked based on availability. And again, sometimes, as much as I'd like to try to collect as many, things that are Japanese and that kind of stuff, things that are, higher detail and that kind of stuff, sometimes the things that weren't available that way. Sometimes I found things in Chinatown, and sure, they may not be as good or whatever, but the price was right, and they actually had it, so that's what I bought, right? But that's, the industry is now different, so, people can have a lot better choice of what they're able to do. But again, that was one of the things I collected based on what I liked. Okay. Now, something like my CD collection here, that's sort of a different story again. Now, again, like the videotape concept, the only way that I was able to get into a lot of Japanese animation music was again tape trading them. Using audio cassettes to basically trade music soundtracks between various different clubs and other different people who mailed me basically tapes and whatnot. And so basically the same concept happened. If in order to get more and to basically have a selection of different music and that kind of stuff, I just basically collected everything and anything that I can get my hands on. And of course, as we went away from audio cassettes, we went into CDs. I did pretty much the same thing. I just collected more and more CDs. Now, the slight advantage that we had was that with CDs, I was able to have some books and some catalogs to help me select out which CDs to collect. Okay, and one of the sort of things that I kind of got into was one of these big huge catalogs, which basically is the all encompassing CD catalog of all the different various Japanese CDs that are out. Now, of course, just like it'd be kind of rather silly and kind of pretty also impossible to collect all the different anime CDs that ever was released that ever came out. Okay, so it's not like trying to collect every single video game that came out on a particular console. It's it's not only a pointless endeavor, but also near impossible endeavor. And again, that's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to basically stay with the the animes and that kind of stuff that I particularly really liked. Obviously, I've actually even gone through a book like this and actually marked out and basically wrote out and translated every single entry and CD that's in the anime section. So I know if it's an anime that I particularly like, then I'll go and order it in. So that's why most of the CDs in this collection I have are like of the ones that I particularly wanted and got straight from Japan. Okay. There's also this other thing that came up during this time of collecting anime CDs and that kind of stuff. One of the places that we obviously went to a lot was in Chinatown to go and get CDs and that kind of stuff. And these are the ones that came from Sanmei out of Taiwan. And they had a very well-defined set of anime CDs that came out. Okay, and so each of their sets that they have were were defined. Okay, so they were almost, as I said, collectible like stamps. Okay, so that's why in that sort of situation, I did at least try to collect all the CDs that were in that particular set. So that I had every one of them. Again, just for collecting ability and that kind of stuff. Most of the CDs that I wanted, of course, I've already ordered from the Japanese side. But of course, all those ones that I only had a partial affinity to, again, I filled them in using the DSM set, and basically did that for all the things that are in the SM set and in the Ever Anime sets, and on various different things like that. Just because, again, they had a defined set. But again, I always go and try to get the Japanese version of those ones because, again, a lot of times, for example, the Japanese sets will always come with the extra boxes and the extra liner notes and that kind of stuff. For example, like this Oh My Goddess one here, they'll contain all the extra insets that the regular SM one wouldn't. So, for example, on this Japanese version here, it comes with an extra little CD thing for Oh My Goddess and that kind of stuff that's in there. Again, that's the advantage of getting the Japanese version there. So, what you want to do right now is you want to go down below, click like, and click subscribe, and I'll get into more funny stories from the good classic golden era age of anime and video gaming, as well as I got new episodes of Languista coming up as I'm nearing my 1 year anniversary of playing the game because I hit the 365-day quest. All right, so until next time, see you again.